How ironic is it that just weeks after publishing my full review about the Kaabo Mantis, which was generally positive, that all these problems with it would come to a head. A lot of the issues with the Mantis have been persistent over the past month or so, but I have given them the benefit of the doubt and tried to see the positive in the scooter. I've even gone so far as to defend the scooter from critics in the comment sections of my videos or in other places online. I've been attached to it emotionally because although it wasn't my first scooter, it's the scooter that inspired me to start this channel and make content for you guys. It was the words Kaabo Mantis in the title of my videos that drew many of you to my channel. I feel like I owe a lot to this scooter, but I've reached a tipping point in my mind where I can no longer, in good conscience, recommend this scooter to anyone. Let me tell you why. I want to start with the issues I've had with the scooter for a while, and then transition into the most recent issues I've been having. The first is the issue that I've talked about a ton, and that is the aslant or crooked nature of the rear hub that has been giving me headaches for as long back as I can remember. I am almost certain that the scooter arrived this way because I cannot think of anything I could have possibly done to bend the hub off center. I've had numerous people in the comments, and even the founder of Fluid Freeride suggest that it was because the tire wasn't properly seated. But it is literally impossible that this is the case, and let me show you why. Take a look here at the side of the brake caliper that sits closest to the hub motor. The paint and a good amount of metal has been completely stripped off. This is because the bent hub has been constantly hitting against this brake. A tire seated incorrectly would not cause the hub to hit against the brake. This causes issues with the brake rotor as well, and it causes the constant rubbing of the brake pad against the rotor no matter how I adjust and set up the brakes. It increases friction and puts extra strain on the motor and scooter parts. I've put up with these issues for 500 miles and I'm just sick of it. As you can see, there's not this issue on the front hub. If this was the only issue with this scooter, I could easily write it off as just being a unique issue that I was having, but there's so much more. Staying on the topic of wheels and tires, let's talk about the bane of my existence, the flat tire. I went over 400 miles with no flat tires on this scooter, and now in the past 3 weeks I've gotten 5 flats. 2 front flats and 3 rear. 2 of the flats I was able to fix by patching and adding slime. 2 I replaced the inner tubes, and now the most recent flat has put the Mantis out of commission indefinitely. The tire is unpatchable and I have no extra inner tubes. Well, just order some more inner tubes, you say. Or maybe you're saying, oh, flat tires happen to everyone. What does this have to do with the Mantis? So hopefully this next part will help answer both of those questions. My very first flat tire completely shredded the inner tube, so patching wasn't an option. When I looked for a new inner tube online, I found that a set of 2 inner tubes from Fluid Freeride would cost me $40. Please keep in mind that a 29-inch bike inner tube costs $9, so a set of 2 bike inner tubes would run $18. That is half the price of the scooter inner tubes for 3 times the amount of material. Plus, the bike tire in this picture comes with sealant inside and has great reviews, both of which are absent from the inner tubes from Fluid Freeride. So I went on Amazon and other websites to try and find the right tube for cheaper than Fluid Freeride, especially because I only needed 1. After looking, I found that none of the inner tubes had the exact right type of valve that I needed. The original Mantis inner tubes have a stem that bends at almost 90 degrees, exactly perpendicular to the tube. All the ones that I was finding online that had the right dimensions didn't have the correct bend in the stem and were not perpendicular to the tube like I needed. So I decided to bite the bullet and spend the $40 to get what I assumed were going to be the exact right tubes for the Mantis. Well, you probably now know where this is going. The tubes from Fluid Freeride showed up, and what did they have? The wrong valve. They had the same issues that all the ones on Amazon have. The valve does not stick out perpendicular to the tube, and the angle of the bend in the valve was wrong too. I couldn't afford to wait or try and track down where on earth I was going to find the right tube that would arrive in a timely manner. At the time of my first flat, I had just gone part-time at my job in order to be able to attend university and spend more time on my YouTube content. YouTube revenue was helping me be able to afford to be part-time at my job, and my Kaabo Mantis was my main tool for creating content. Without the Mantis up and running, I was screwed. so I decided to use the tubes anyway and just make them work. Another issue with the replacement tubes was that they were significantly worse quality than the original Mantis ones. The material for the inner tube was much thinner, so I knew I was in trouble. As always, I checked the inside and outside of the tire for what caused the flat and removed the thorns that had caused the original flat so it wouldn't happen again. I got the new tube inside the tire and started putting the hub back together. If you look here, you will see that the stem has a very specific spot that it has to run through to allow access to it to inflate it. As I put the mismatched stem into this slot, I realized very quickly that it was going to cause a lot of issues. The incorrect orientation of the stem to the tube caused a lot of stress to be put at the base of the stem where it meets the rubber of the tube. The incorrect angle in the valve of the stem caused it to be wedged tightly against the metal hub rim. This meant that once all the bolts on the hub were tightened, there was zero space to get the end of the pump in to inflate the tire. So I had to loosen the hub bolts almost all the way so that a pump tip would attach to the valve of the tire, so I could pump it up, and then I would have to retighten the bolts. If I wanted to add any more air to that tire for whatever reason, I would have to repeat that process. Well, it never got to that point because on my first ride out, the pressure on the base of the stem ripped a hole in the inner tube and gave me a flat after just about 5 minutes of riding. The moral of this story is that the correct tubes for this scooter are extremely hard to find, and you can't even trust that the one people claim to be selling is the actual thing that they are selling. I wonder why reviews are disabled for this listing. Don't stress over this scooter and fixing its flat tires, and find yourself a scooter with solid tires or that has an honest distributor that has steady access to the correct tubes to fix your flats. The next issue is with the kickstand that fell off in the first month of owning this scooter. Also, the mat on the deck of this scooter fell off in the first month. Maybe all the things falling off was a sign. It has been openly admitted that there have been issues with the kickstands falling off, and Kaabo has made some sort of kickstand plate to fix it. Fluid Freeride offered to send me the kickstand replacement and plate, but after responding, I haven't heard back from them. Now let me get to the real deal breaker, the construction issues that I've been having recently. Please keep in mind that this scooter only has 500 miles on it. As far as the odometer reads, this scooter is still fairly new. I have heard of all the stem issues that the Mantis has, and while my stem, even when fully tightened, has a bit of play and bend to it, I have never had any major issues with the stem. Recently, the stem has felt extremely loose and wiggly though. When I investigated the issue, I found that it wasn't an issue with the stem itself, but with the piece of metal that connects the stem to the deck. If you look here, when I move the handlebars back and forth, you will see that the metal plate lifts up off of the deck and seems to be coming completely loose. This motion is even more amplified up where the handlebars are and makes riding the Mantis feel more unstable than I've ever felt. I am genuinely concerned that over time, the stem and deck will completely separate or break while I'm riding. I tried tightening the screws that seem to be connected to this part, but it did nothing to fix the issue. I'm appalled at the utter lack of quality here. The fact that there seems to be a chance of this scooter completely snapping in half while riding is the most disappointing, frustrating thing that I've ever come across in a $1,600 piece of technology. The loosening of the front section of the scooter has also caused the front swing arm to be pushed down and rub into the front plate. The issue is even more amplified when there's weight on the scooter. All these issues are in addition to my gripes that I had with the scooter in my full review. So at this point, the Kaabo Mantis has little going for it in my mind. It is my personal recommendation that you do not purchase this scooter, and I have removed all links to it in the description of my videos. Do lots of research, dig for long-term reviews of scooters, and find something of higher quality. I will continue to bring you guys quality content and dig myself for quality scooters that I can recommend. If you want to check out my current go-to reliable commuter scooter, check out the link in the description to my Highboy S2 Pro review. And don't worry, you'll see the Mantis again after I've resolved these issues. I guess it's kind of my fixer-upper scooter now. The next Mantis update video will be a recap of what I discovered when taking the scooter apart and anything I did to improve the existing issues. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video when I unbox my new Mantis replacement.